Welcome to One for One, getting you 1% closer to your dream in 1 hour. And I'm your host, Avalon McMullen. And today we have Jamie Dillard with us.
Hi.
We are going to get you 1% closer
1%.
to your dream right here, right now.
I'm excited.
Yes. And I would love, could you introduce yourself for us?
Yes. So I'm Jamie Dillard. I work in content creation for the community college. And I also am a small business owner for a content creation company helping other small businesses.
Amazing. She is a badass, and I'm so grateful that you are here. So excited. And I would love to hear a little concise version of what is the dream that we are getting you closer to today?
So my dream is that I would do my agency full time, but I want to hire other moms who do what I do and set up an office where we can bring our kids and just a very inclusive space for girl bosses doing badass things in the marketing world. That is my dream.
Okay, I already have more questions, but first off, if you could guess what being 1% closer to that dream would be, what would that look like?
I think officially 1% for me is on my to-do list, is on the back burner, but it's a necessary 1% is filling out my SWaM application to be officially certified woman-owned, minority-owned business. That would be my first start.
Okay.
It's very time consuming, it's very tedious, and I put it on the back burner, but it has to happen.
Okay.
It's very important. I think it's a very important distinction to have. I'm very proud to be a minority-owned, woman-owned business, and I think that's just the key to the 1% to start.
Ooh, this is so juicy.
Yes.
I'm so excited. Okay, well, first off, I want to get into, tell me more about the dream. Can you paint a picture for me, paint the vision of what the full actualization of living in this dream looks like for you?
So I have been in marketing for over a decade. I've seen agency side, independent side, working in college side, and I've also been a mom majority of that time. And I'm able somehow to do both things, but I still have made sacrifices along the way. Yeah. I have a lot of women who are mothers in the same industry who I feel, unfortunately, we're constantly having to pick between showing up as a mother or showing up as an owner. And I want my space to, I think being a mom is badass. It's a superpower. Oh, wow. We are taught and we learn to live for the pivot, the plot, the twist. And I think that makes us amazing marketers, just being a woman in general, personally. But adding that mom element is just another little piece. And so in my mind, I would put those powerhouses in the same space, but I would make it very mother-friendly. Okay. I think a lot of times, especially in my career, we do have to choose, and I don't want them to have to choose. I think we are able to multitask at a very high level. Most women are, that's proven. And I think when you allow people, when you give them a goal and don't tell them how to do it, you get
magic.
Yes.
Literal magic.
So I would like my space, my hub, to be an open office space where, if you need to bring your baby to work, bring your baby to work. If you're able to complete the task that we need to complete and your baby is a part of that process, then by all means.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my God. I'm obsessed. Can you hire me? Can I be your first employee? We'll see. But okay, so getting a little bit more specific, what does the perfect average day look like with that dream being a reality? You can be as detailed or overview as you want, but what does that day look like and feel like to you? So
for me, I have noticed I'm very type B person. I love a type A because I think we all make the world go around. Yep. But I'm a person, I like to work 3 o'clock in the morning. In my ideal world, if I can get up at 3 and get things going, I would. I'm an early riser. And I like to get things done. In the middle of the day, I'm like, okay, let me get things done. I think creating a space where, again, if you give them the goal and you let them meet it within the timeline, that's fine. So for me, an average day is that we have our meeting set up, we meet with our client. You're someone that works remote. You're not on calls all day long. It's not realistic. I personally feel like a lot of times in corporate, traditional, it's very antiquated. You're in meetings to have meetings. Yeah. You don't need that many meetings.
Yeah, to talk about having a meeting. Yeah,
I like to get to the point. I'm very conscious of people's time. I think it's important to be efficient. So I think creating a welcome environment where women can set up the meetings that they need to, but they can pivot around life. I'm not stuck on a 40-hour work week necessarily. I don't feel like there needs to be this set structure. I've noticed a lot for companies are very innovative with their employee work life. They're not really setting set days in the office. They're just like, hey, here's what we have. What can you do? Yeah. I think if you build that type of trust and rapport with your team, the results are going to be amazing. Yeah. So in my ideal world, we have an office space that's there for our clients to come, meet, showcase, have those conferences, but it's really set up in a way that you can work where it's best for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And like create that container for everyone to do their best work.
Like, I'm not a remote person. I'm remote sometimes, but I love to interact. I'm social. I like the community, but I also understand sometimes you need to be at home. And if doing your laundry and prepping dinner while your kid runs around and you're creating content on your phone, if that's your vibe, I support that vibe.
Nice. Oh, so I feel really solid about the vision of the dream and like what the actual dream is. But I want to know, like, this is about you.
Yes.
So tell me, how does it feel? Like, put yourself in, I don't know if you need a timeline, like whatever amount of time, like a year from now, 2 years, 5 years, whatever timeline you can imagine for this dream being actualized. Put yourself there and like, tell me how it feels.
It feels amazing. It feels freeing. It feels like a necessary moment. For me, it's not a matter of like if, it's when. I think timing is everything. I have transitioned out of I'm surviving life to thriving in life type of mindset. So for me, it's not a matter of it can't happen. It's just when will it happen and getting all the pieces lined up. I'm very much in the thick of working full time and managing a small business and also being a mother. But I'm building little pieces day by day to get there. And I think also just being a girl mom in particular, I am raising my mini girl boss. So I want to leave that legacy for my children. I want them to have this agency. Marketing is not going anywhere.
No.
And it's going to evolve. You know, when I started marketing, it was MySpace.
Yeah, oh, it's crazy.
And people didn't understand back then what social media could do. I looked up something the other day and I think it said 13, I don't know, don't quote me on it. It was billions of people are online.
Yeah.
The world's going to pivot. TikTok's had like a midlife crisis already.
Totally.
But I know at the core of it, marketing, relationships, connection, and branding are always going to be there. So for me, it feels good to be building. Right now, I'm a small business right now, but I plan to be a big business. And so it's just a matter of when, but I want to leave that legacy for my family and to really build that for other women. Oh
my gosh. So it feels like very powerful, it sounds like.
Yes, I am surrounded by girl bosses. I'm surrounded by very strong, powerful women. I have a lot of family members that are small business owners, and I'm very inspired by that. Not everyone's going to be a business owner. There's workers, there's employees, owners, all of those things, but it is very hard to be a business owner.
Yes.
And it's not, you can go to work, collect a paycheck, that's completely fine. Love that for you.
Love that for you.
Love that for you. I tend to think most business owners, we're a little bit crazy because you put yourself out there, the return on investment isn't always what you're pouring into it. There's essentially a clock in and a clock out when you're an employee or you're working for someone else. When you're your own business owner, it never stops. No. So I understand the work that goes into it, but I live for the crazy and I live for the people who love the crazy.
Yeah. Oh, I love this attitude. I love that you know this about yourself.
Yes.
And now I want to know, what are the barriers and obstacles between you and this dream right now? Sounds like just time happening, Time. But what else? I
would say time is the biggest part, and mainly time. And I'm working through a better time management schedule now for myself because I juggle clients and a full-time career. Yeah. And I'm a person that gives 100% to everything that I do. So I wouldn't slack on anything, but the one thing I probably do slack on is investing in myself. And because in my mind going into it, I was very much not taking the advice I would give a client. I'm like, promote yourself, promote. And then I'm like, I don't have time to promote myself because I'm promoting my clients. And so I am working on building my brand for my business. So I would say building the brand more consistently because I obviously know how to do it. I understand the whys. It's just the time for me is like, I'd rather do, client work in my full time. And I would say long-term looking at it is just getting the pouring financially into a building space, and which I don't think will be that difficult. It's really just I think I'm very strategic and I have resources, so it's just a matter of like sitting down and doing it.
Okay. Yeah. Oh gosh, I heard so much good stuff. Yes, easier said than done. It like you consider yourself to be very well resourced and like you have those foundation blocks to make it happen.
I think also where we live, we have so many great spaces, even the space we're in today. Yeah. I think there's tons of places where we could have a startup office. And I know there's a lot of grant funding. There's also tons of funding for small women-owned minority businesses.
We'll use that.
So I think it's a matter of starting certain processes. And I feel comfortable writing grants. I feel comfortable advocating for myself. I understand I am a marketer. So I understand doing it is just sitting down that time and investing little by little into it.
Yeah. So I've heard multiple times you saying like it's just a matter of like sitting down and doing it.
Yes.
What are the obstacles and barriers to sitting down and doing that particular like paperwork you mentioned? And you can be so honest and for real right now. Like,
I think every time I sit down and I think I have extra minutes to do something, I do client work.
Ooh.
I'm at work full time in marketing. And when I'm not doing client work, I'm volunteering or doing client work.
And stuff like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't really know the word free time.
Yeah.
And I think I'm balancing out self-care, being a career woman, mother, and then also having that admin day for myself.
Yeah.
Like that is one thing when it comes to pushing something to the back burner, I will push my admin day for my business to the back, far to the back.
It's like the least fun thing ever.
Yes, I'm like, well, life goes on.
Yeah.
Because essentially I'm still doing business. I still have active clients. And in the short, that's great. But I'm not pouring into my long-term goals right now.
So I'm hearing, it sounds like you need to do it.
Yes.
It sounds like you understand the value of doing it. I guess what is keeping you from making the time?
Well, when you asked me to come here because you didn't want to know what my dream was before, I said that was as soon as you asked me, I knew that was what my dream was. And I've been sitting with it because I was like, oh, she's going to ask me a lot of questions about this and I got to be held accountable. So I think it's one of those things that I kept inside so I didn't have to have this goal out there.
So I think this is the accountability.
So now that it's out loud, I was like, if I don't say it out loud, no one can check me.
Yeah.
And I tell my mom all the time, I was like, I'm competitive, but not against other people, with myself.
Yep.
Like, I'm like, hey, where were you last year? Where you are? Where are you this year? And when I say something out loud, I've got to do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, all or nothing, very, that's my neurospicy side of me. And so I was like, when you asked me, I was like, oh man, now I got to actually do this because I'm saying it out loud. So I think really it was just taking it from mind to words and like putting it out there. I think besides doing the SWaM application and just making it more concrete, I have thought about hiring a part-time employee.
Because you are busy enough. I see you on the outside, I can only imagine.
And yes, because part of the part-time employee thing is taking on a little bit, because I'm doing the content creation, the actual account management,
literally everything.
Yes, full service marketing.
Back of house, front of house.
Yes,
the whole house.
And I tell people that when I give them consulting, I'm like, hey, you're going to have to expand a little bit. And I think I'm at that point where I'm growing enough to have maybe like a 10 to 15 hour person, and that would free up a little time to do those, to do a little bit of those admin things that were going to go a long way. And it still pours into the fact that I like to mentor and support. So it's just, I got to do it. I just got to like bite the bullet.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's out loud now.
It is.
And it's going to be online.
It's going to be online. I was like,
people are going to check me.
The whole crew cheering you on now.
Yeah, so now it's out here.
Well, I guess, again, I have so many questions because all of this is so layered and juicy, and you are so amazing and like surfacing all of this for us.
Well, I was like, I was trying to think of a gentle goal, and I was like, go big or go home.
Yeah,
go big or go home.
That doesn't sound like you. I mean, you mentioned the SWaM paperwork. Tell me more about that. Tell me more about like what would it look like to actually sit down and do that? Like, don't think about the time, just like logistically, because I'm not familiar with it.
So I actually have majority of the paperwork together.
Okay.
I actually went to a session that the city offered. I went for another client actually to get. I try to stay very well versed in what's happening in the different industries that I like help clients.
Yeah.
And so I went for a client that does stuff with city schools, and I was like, oh, they're talking to me. I was like,
the universe got you there.
I was like, I am the audience they're talking to.
Yeah.
So I think in short, a little bit of it's just really being proud that I am a woman-owned, minority-owned business. I think small businesses are the root of our communities. I think they are much needed. They make change. I'm very proud of small business owners. So a little bit of it is just that. But then I learned a lot about the connections and the priority that actual certified businesses get. And I think with what I'm trying to do, that is the initial smart direction to take. I have most of the paperwork together. It's literally just sitting. I mean, it's a process. Once you fill it out, you have to go through meetings and all that. It's really just taking, I would say, a good 2 hours, filling it out, getting all the paperwork, sending it off. It's that simple. I just don't do it because I'm like, every time I have a free moment, I am using it for something else or someone.
Yeah. Okay. So 2 hours of like logistical time, but I could be wrong. Please correct me. But I almost feel this like emotional buffer in between like just taking out your phone and putting it on your calendar right now. Like what
keeps me from investing the 2 hours?
Yeah, or like what bad thing happens when you start this process? Does that make sense?
I feel, and I don't know if other people have had this experience, but I very much, first off, I love my full-time job.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. If I think long-term, I could very easily replace that salary. I think without a lot of stress. I'm not a person that feels a blind allegiance to work.
For you.
I think a lot of times we are just numbers. Yeah. I don't feel that in my current job, but I also know we are all replaceable. Yeah. That's reality.
That's the not, employee
I
thing.
mean, at the end of the day, companies have a job to do, and if you aren't in alignment with that, and I understand that, I respect the nature of the business. I don't feel that in my current job. I feel, I'm very passionate about what I do full time. But I also think prior to that, I really slowed down on my business. I had essentially been doing small business marketing probably since I was 17 years old. I would say the last 2 years was the first 2 years that I seriously charged people. I followed through. And I think a lot of it was just my blind allegiance to the companies that I was working for, and also fear of retaliation. I want to say, I think my daughter was maybe 5 at the time. She's 13 now. I was working for a company. They went bankrupt. And that was the first, I've never been fired. I've always gotten any job that I've interviewed for. And I'm a diehard employee. Like I was hard in the paint. And when that company, which the crazy thing was, my individual branch we were making tons of money. We were actually one of the successful, but they wanted to sell it off as a whole. And I remember feeling so much peace. And that's how I was the highest paid in that branch, and I remember feeling sad for my employees, but I felt peace. And I was like, I was making really great money, but I was miserable. And
you were relieved?
It was the best. I mean, it was the best time of my life closing that brand. Like, I just had never felt so much joy about something being over, but it was also a reality check for me. And I was like, this isn't where you're going to be. And I just stopped having this blind allegiance towards a job. And, my mom always tells me, she said, Virginia's an at-will hire and fire. And she was like, remember that works for you too. And so I think a lot of it was fear of retaliation. I think we live in a society where people don't understand creatives or people who multitask, or sometimes mediocre feels safe. And when you are outside of that box, it upsets people and unnerves them because they can't understand it. And I think for a long time, once I became a mother, I did what was safe to be a provider for her. But I know that I can do all things, and I'm a badass, and that will always be okay. So I think now I'm, again, transitioning out of surviving to thriving and living fearless. I could lose. They could see this interview and be like, we don't think she has our best interest at heart anymore. She has other endeavors. And I would accept that, and I would still be okay.
Be okay?
Yeah, whereas before I'd be like, oh no, I need it. And now I just don't have that, because as we know, anything can go wrong in this world these days. So we're living in a dumpster fire. So I figured I'm gonna, roast marshmallows while the world's on fire and find my little bit of joy that I can. So I think a lot of it was just playing it safe. There's a certain, when you're a kid, like you see little kids do wild stuff, it's because the world hasn't told them they couldn't. They don't know boundaries yet, which can be good and bad, but they haven't experienced letdown and fear, and so they're wild and free. And I'm just trying to live like my wild 3-year-old niece now and do all the things I want to do. And I might fail, I might not, but I'd rather sit with failure than like regret.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So is there an emotional buffer in between you and blocking off those 2 hours on your calendar?
I think for me, a lot of it, the fear has gone away. I think I'm a very selfless person, and I feel it now, like, especially if you're a person who works in marketing, I feel like sometimes I'm like, oh, if I'm posting too much on my page, what are the people thinking? Like, oh, why isn't she promoting me? Why isn't she doing that? So I try to batch that out. I think for me, it's caring a lot about what my clients think. And, I help a lot of people, and I want them to feel like they're getting all of my time and attention and pouring into their account. I'm very selective about the clients I take on. One, just so I can make sure I can manage it and their expectations. I tend to work more for people who are service, like therapy, community service, nonprofit. That's more my jam. I'm not really a for-profit marketer. I think it's cool. I love brands. I'm an ultimate consumer. I love good marketing. I just know my marketing is deeply tied to my like ethics and morals and purpose. So I'm very specific in that, but I think I always feel guilty. Like if I'm over posting on my account, I'm like, oh, let me go over here. So I know that's not correct, but it is. It's
that's
like,
what's real though.
I'm like, oh, they're probably like, oh, she's posting on her account. We could have got another post today. And I know the people that I work with, they don't think that.
They wouldn't be like that.
They're not those type of people. I wouldn't even want to work with someone like that.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I'm like, oh, okay. So, and I think a lot of people who aren't in marketing don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of people think we're just like fun little cute posts and they don't realize all the goes
layers
behind it. Yeah. And I feel in marketing, I spend a lot of time justifying and explaining. And so that tends to like add into that little layer.
And wherein, yeah. Has it occurred to you that you spending time on your brand and building this agency would actually be in such deep service to your current and future clients?
So I have noticed, I will say recently, because I have been out in more like ambassador things and putting myself out there more, people have connected with me and I'm like, oh, who's this you're sharing? And I realized I've noticed that a lot of clients that I promote through my personal business, my business page, a lot of my friends and other clients are starting to follow them. And I was like, let's see.
I got some power here.
Yes. So I do realize, and I think too, it's almost a safety in being an employee instead of an owner. And I think I have to, let go of those, the crutches of that. But because it is scary. Like when you have a big dream, it's like, holy moly. Like
that's how you know it's your big dream though.
It is. Because I'll be like, baby Jesus, like, why can't I be normal? Like, why? Like sometimes when I look at my calendar, I'm like, you're a weirdo. Like,
but you can't help it.
Yeah. I'm like, I want to go home and go to sleep. And I'm like, no, I need to do this. Or I saw this person I follow on social media. We have never met in person. I see their content. I randomly was on LinkedIn, saw an opening for something in alignment with what this person, and I sent it to him. That was the first time I ever talked to him. And I was like, you are in fact a weirdo. But it's just how my brain works.
It's a magical weirdo.
It is. And I was like, this is how my brain works. I dream big and I have to lean into it. And I was like, it wouldn't be on my heart and in my mind if it wasn't something I needed to go after.
Yeah.
So it's just fear and guilt that I have to be like, you're doing the right thing. The bigger you build yourself, the better resources, connections I have for my clients, especially because majority, if not all my clients are people who offer services back to the community. So building that connection for myself and my business would just help further theirs.
Totally. So you mentioned before how you've moved through the fear of, actually like going in on your business like 2 years ago. Can you tell me more about a time where you have moved through that big fear and it's paid off? Because I feel like you've probably done that a lot. But I feel like a lot. Tell me how that has worked for you.
So this is kind of slightly shady, but not. But I spoke at a event for other marketers who do similar things, and just like how I have built certain accounts. And there was a vendor fair of other agencies, and I love some of their swag. I love, I was just kind of looking at their tables.
Yeah, fangirling a little bit.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, loved it. And I remember looking at one of their accounts, and I didn't think it didn't meet what I thought it was.
Yeah, you're like,
I was like, because I put a lot of pressure on myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, but then I also got to know, because of them being a vendor, their prices. And I was like, okay.
This is data.
Yeah, so I shortly after that sent out I did a discovery call with a potential client, and then I sent out an agreement with my prices, and it's like the highest that I ever charge anyone, and I wanted to throw up.
Yeah.
I
know what that's like.
I couldn't believe it. And it was weird because I was like, I know I'm doing more than what that agency is doing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't in the like better or worse. It was just like the actual,
objectively.
Yeah. The actual work. And I said, okay, do you not think your work is valuable? And I had to sit with that. And so I sent it out, And I still, even after doing the research, still significantly probably lowball myself, but it was still significantly more than I had ever charged.
Right.
And I sent it out and I got the deposit, and I mean, I wanted to like pass out.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, like who am I? Who do I think I am? And
you don't feel like you're stealing from them or
yeah,
something?
I do. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, and I like have to, every time I get a deposit or a new client, even a referral, like just the fact that someone, especially when it's someone in my industry that refers me, because especially certain people that I'm just like fangirls of, I truly respect their craft and their art. It's so humbling and amazing to me that I'm like, you think you're referring someone? I think you're like the business and you're sending them to me. But then also it's like, to be a small business, I know what it is to juggle. You're not getting a consistent paycheck. You don't have the guarantee of like, your healthcare, all of these things. And so the fact that you took money from your business to invest in me and you believe in my business is so, and it's like, if I got a corporate account, cool, great, But when it's another small business, it means so much more to me because I know that those dollars mean more. Those dollars are the difference between you being able to keep your lights on and you're trusting me to build your brand. So
it's worth it.
Yeah, it is. So I had to do that, but it was scary. Versus now, I'm like, I think at first I had to define who I was and understand who I am. And as I get older and more defined in my business, that gets more, it evolves. But I'm not lowballing myself anymore. And if my prices aren't what you need or they don't meet you, I respect that. Because if, there's some certain things on my wish list, I'm like, it's not in my, it's not going to happen right now. And that's okay. So I have that same respect for other people. It doesn't mean it's not a reflection of me and my worth in my business, but I'm no longer settling and I am making sure it's worth it. And I don't feel the pressure to just take and just like, oh, this is what you think I deserve. I'm not doing that anymore.
Right. So what did you learn from moving through that fear that you could use today?
That really the worst thing can happen.
You're like, why are you asking this question, Avalon?
I have been moving, it was kind of perfectly aligned that I met you when I did, because everything that has happened in the last 6 months has truly been out of being audacious and doing it afraid. Yeah. A lot of people probably don't think this about me, but I don't even really say it anymore, but I had terrible social anxiety. I've always been behind the scenes. Wow. It wasn't until I decided to be an ambassador that I even started posting my actual face on my business page. I only would use like graphics, never posted myself.
Your beautiful face, we need to see it.
Never. I was like, I can't do it. I want to say, so I helped the local museum for over a year now. Yeah. Never went to anything. We had a local colors thing maybe pretty much a year ago now. That was my first event. And I don't know where this happens, but whatever. I just shift. And I went to that, and I mean, I was sweating, I was stressed out, and I was like, but I did it afraid. Yeah. And I've just, a lot of things I've done for clients are work-based is very performative. Yeah. But when it comes to pouring into myself, that's when I typically, and for doing the talent ambassadors for Get to Know Note, I was looking that up for a client, and I was like, what if I fill it out? And I did that, and coming to the events, like I have dropped out of people's weddings, like. That's how bad my anxiety is. Like, oh, honey. Shout out to my friend for forgiving me. But I mean, I am that person.
I would never know that.
Yeah, like panic. And I don't know where that girl is anymore because I don't even really have anxiety. Like, I don't want to say I have anxiety. That's not a cure. See your therapist. Okay?
Yes. Yes. We love
I really don't have a fear about putting myself out there anymore. And it's been wild. Like, even coming to do this.
No big deal.
Last year, could never. I would have told you I'd be like, I'm dead. I would have changed my number and I'm like, this girl.
Never contact me
I'm
again.
like, do not. I would have been like, no, sorry, I'm sick. And the thing is, my anxiety would get so bad that I would physically get sick.
Yeah.
So I think just doing things afraid. Yeah. And then eventually you don't feel afraid. Yeah. Because when I've done them afraid this last year, nothing bad has happened. But I think about all the times I didn't try something, the regret is heavy. Yeah. And I'm like, dang, what if? And I don't know how it is for other people, but living with what if for a very long time has
heartbreaking.
Yes. And instead of, what if, I'm just like, let's see. And I've been doing it, and the fear has actually gotten a lot smaller to almost non-existent, which has been wild. Like, there's some other secret things in the works that I haven't got to put out yet, but when I think about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, it's wild because I would have never. And I think a lot of people who know me, they're like, there's no way. And I've said that to people, I'm like, I've lost a lot of friends and opportunities because of having debilitating anxiety of like the fear of putting myself out there. And at the time I didn't have the words to articulate what I was experiencing. And I'm sure people take it personally. We're human.
Yeah.
So it's been different, but I'm thankful that because I've seen the other side, so it gives me a lot of grace for other people, and I don't internalize people not showing up in the way I want them to, because I understand what it feels like to not be able to do that. Not because I don't want to, it was hard.
Really, literally can't. Your body would not let you.
And I think a lot of people are, I know I've disappointed people, and I'm like, I'm disappointed in myself, like, and that's harder. So for me to even say out loud, like, I don't think, probably not really until the ambassador, because I was like, this is my chance to because I put my business Instagram and socials on there. This is probably the first time in the last year that I've said out loud that I'm a business owner, even though I've been a licensed tax-paying business owner for over a decade. I never publicly promote it. It's just kind of been word of mouth. I meet people, or I'll just go somewhere and I'm like, hey, you really need to, like, I'm very passionate about I'm very passionate about marketing, and it's kind of evolved into that. But I've always done it. Like, my mom is very business minded, and she's helped me a lot, and she's like, you're gonna get yourself licensed. But decades
but actually owning the identity.
Oh my God. This is like the first full year, and it's not even been a full year. I mean, we started doing the ambassador thing
like a few months ago.
So if you look, that was the first time there was a picture, is when I signed up for that. And I want to say it was like, we did the application November, December. And so I put a photo there so they would know, like, this is her page. But I've had that page. I mean, I changed my business name. Well, I didn't change it. I got the new Outlook has been around since 2023. Prior to that, I was a different company for like the last decade. But I have never, even my old company was literally Life with Jamie, but it was LWJ Marketing. So I wouldn't even break down the acronym, so they would associate it with me.
Oh my God.
Out of like fear of like, what will happen? Or what if? And now I'm like, hey, I own my business.
What if?
This is what I do.
own my business. What if?
Yeah.
It's like flipping the other side of the coin.
Well, and I looked at those people, and I saw what they were charging. And there was one lady in particular, I loved her swag the most. And I, saw how small they were. And I was like,
wait a sec.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, I mean, that's just 2 more people than me, and I can do that. I am doing that. I am actually doing that.
And have been doing that.
And they kind of spoke to the group of why you should do business with them, and I was like, why do I not do that? And it was wild. And so I was like, that, I'm literally doing the thing they're doing. They're just doing it. That's all they're doing, which is great. But I am not promoting myself. And I have to take a dose of the medicine that I give my clients. Because I tell them all the time, I'm like, how will someone buy or get your services when they don't even know they exist? So it's like,
you say that all the time? Yeah.
So I have to take my own advice, which is usually hard.
Not saying it's not hard. But it sounds like you have moved through, like, you've gone through a huge evolution and moved through so much fear. And it sounds like you literally, like, have a mindset and a mantra of, like, being able to move through that.
Yes, very much so. I think a big part, I mean, I say it to my clients, progress, not perfection. I am wonderfully flawed, and it's changed my life to embrace those flaws instead of running from them. I like that I'm not perfect. I'm a hot mess express, but I get a lot done, and I'm a powerhouse. And I think just not being afraid, and because I don't like to compare. I truly believe comparison is a thief of joy, but I kind of look at it in the sense of, if they're doing it, why not me? Like, that's how I look at it. It's not that I think they're better. I just think there's a reason why we're all here. Whatever your faith beliefs are, I think that there's enough room for us. Like I said, there's billions of people on the internet. I mean, me and you do very similar things.
Space for all of us to succeed.
And I don't feel like you're a competition. I'm like proud of you. I share your things. I'm not, there's somebody for everyone. I think there's clients for me, there's clients for you. And I'm like, why can't I do it? Like, I mean, we can all think of tons of reasons not to do something, but I'm thinking of all the reasons I can right now. And I just have to, like, continue to move that. So even when you brought it up, and I was like, baby Jesus, you and your divine timing, because as soon as you even mentioned, because you're like, I don't want to know, and I knew in my head instantly. And it's wild because my dad always says, he was like, you always told me you wanted to be a teacher and a boss. I've been a teacher. Now I just gotta be a boss. So
you are a boss. So.
And I've said that for a long time. And I mean, I've not checked off the teacher. I still teach occasionally, but I have always loved business. I've loved marketing for as long as I can remember. And I really don't have anything to lose. Like, I know that I trust myself. So if I bet on anything, I can bet on me.
Gold. So what's stopping you from booking those 2 hours to do that paperwork now?
Well, you know, when you asked me at coffee, I said, "Oh Lordy," I wrote it down. I was like, "Hot date with Avalon."
Yeah.
And I said I went. So when I in my planner next week, because I have Erin Condren, shout out. It's not sponsored. I love her though. Definitely recommend the planner. But,
yes.
I have in there like 5 weekly goals that I can have. So I have like devotional, journal, things like that. And I wrote for next week, I was like, you can do hard things, you will do hard things. And I wrote in there that I will complete my application next week. Because I said, if I have to say it out loud with her today, then it means I got to put it out. Once it's out there, you got to do it.
Yeah.
I'm very competitive with myself, and I'm a woman of my word. So I said, this is going out into the metaverse. So I gotta do it now. Yeah. So, you know, next week I've already got the documents together. Okay. So I just gotta clickety-clack on those keys.
Okay. We got it on the calendar. Is there anything stopping you from actually doing it?
Just
Is there a self-sabotaging bone in your body around this?
Always. You know, I feel like you can always find an excuse not to do something if you want to.
Totally.
So, I mean, I am a recovering people pleaser. So now that I've said it out loud, and I know you're gonna.
And I might message you. And be
like, I was like, you're gonna be asking me. And I said, once I said this out loud and you put this out in the world, people are gonna start asking me about it. So the recovering people pleaser is still deep in me. So
we'll use it if we're gonna.
You know, I use it to my advantage.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Nothing holding me back. I am gonna do it on Monday. And from there, they schedule an interview and we go through it, and then it's done.
Amazing.
I'm excited.
So, would you say we got you 1% closer to your dream today?
I feel like we got 10% closer, bare minimum.
Oh my God.
At the minimum. It was more than 1%. I had to say it out loud. It's like, it makes it more real when you say it to someone.
Totally.
I'm like, oh, it's just in my head that one day I'm just going to be walking around this dope ass office full of girl bosses. And now I'm saying it out loud.
Oh my God.
And I feel like when you say them out, when you say it out loud, the universe, whatever you believe, it brings it back to you. So I feel like those marketing mommies out there, call me.
Yeah. Well, literally, like if people want to follow you in your journey, where can they do that?
You can follow me, and she'll type it down on the screen. But New Outlook Media for all things. And yeah, slide into my DMs if you're a hot mommy that wants to do marketing. So yes.
Follow the journey. I love that. Yes. Thank you so much. This has been the pilot episode of One for One. This is me proving to myself that I can do it.
I don't know why she says that, because the first day I met you, I went home and I was like, I have a new best friend. And they were like, what? Because I'm just not that way. And I was like, she was like a ball of energy and just like girl boss. And I was like, she does similar things to me. She wasn't competitive. And then I went to your Audacity training and I was like, your content is like my daily motivation. I'm like, let me get my Avalon fix so I can girl boss to the moon and do all things. And so when you asked me to do this episode, and I was like, I'm among the cool kids. I was super honored. So I'm glad this is your podcast.
Cry. Oh my God.
Girl,
you were the cool kid to me.
I told you I was on the struggle bus. I was like, if nothing else, I would be there for this because it's the dopest thing ever. So I'm very thankful that you considered me for your first episode, for your pilot.
Oh my God. Thank you for trusting me with this conversation. I really felt
I've never said it out loud.
Yeah, no, you showed up in your full like vulnerability and audacity and badassery. And I'm just so
I was
grateful.
Like, no anxiety though. But that's because you have good energy, good aura. I was like, I trust her. I was like, she's girl bossing to the moon. If anyone is going to give me my 1% there, it's going to be her.
Oh my God.
I'm excited. Thank you.
Oh, and with that, if you liked this, if you enjoy this concept, please interact with this video because this is the pilot, this is the test. Yes. If you want to see more of it, let us know. Thank you so much.
Bye.